Hey, hello everybody. How you doing out there in YouTube land, and also in the other land there called Facebook? Glad to see if you guys all be a part of this. I am out here right now, just broadcasting to all of you from the Six String Corner site. Um, Glad to have you on board in YouTube and on the Six String Corner site. I was going to try and get my personal site there, but apparently it is not working. Yes, well, that's how Facebook goes sometimes, right? It just kind of sucks. So, no, it doesn't. You guys are on Facebook. I know. So, anyway, welcome to the guitar lesson of the day today. This is, and then welcome to all of you who are still yet to be. Those of you who have not been on live and you're watching this later, welcome. Glad to have you on board. This is my Six String Corner site, and I basically give lessons. I teach guitar online. I do have a live online program that I do teach, and I also have lots of videos on the YouTube channel. So if you're not on YouTube, if you're watching this on Facebook, you're going to catch a lot of YouTube videos that I do put out there, both for fun and also to educate you all. So hopefully you can get something out of that as well. So again, welcome. Glad you guys are all on board. Glad that you're tuning on in, and or you found me on somewhere on the YouTube search lines, and we're going to get ourselves started. Today, we're going to talk about some guitar solos. Oh my gosh, guitar solos? Are you serious? I can't play a guitar solo. I can't even play a chord. Yeah, I know. Sometimes guitar solos, yeah, they can be intimidating, and a lot of them can get really intimidating if you're not used to it. But there's also some that are probably easier than you think. One advantage, if you can't play chords, one advantage to many solos, not all, but lots of solos, a lot of single note stuff. So you can just press your finger on one note and, play some kind of solo. I did some easy solos a few weeks ago. I can't remember what it was, 2-3 weeks ago. I put it. It's on YouTube. So you can look for that link there. Look for that YouTube video that I had about just some easy solos. Today I'm going to do some guitar solo intros. So famous introductory solos. Now there's a lot of them. There's a ton of them. I've only got time to do, well, I did say 2 in my promo, but I'm actually going to do a bonus third one. So if you stick around, I'm going to show you a little fun one. It could be potentially a challenge. I will not lie to you about that, but it could be a potential challenge. But anyway, I'm going to show it to you anyway, and have a little fun with it. As opposed to just the regular videos that I have, this is more interaction. So if you do have a question, you go ahead and ask me. You can just put something in the comment line, either on Facebook or on YouTube, and just ask a question. Hey, how do you do the thing? Or hey, wait a minute, slow down. There was something about what you just did. Can you take care of that and tell me how to do that? Or if you're watching this later, just put it in the comments. I do check the comments quite a bit on my YouTube channel, and of course on Facebook. I see them all the time as well. So just go ahead and ask a question if there's something you want to know. Also, if you're interested in guitar lessons, online lessons, I do have some still available. They're kind of going fast. I know that's a cliche, but they are going. The time slots are going. So if you are interested, I got a good deal. In fact, the first lesson's free. So, you can't go wrong on that. Just do a free online lesson. You don't have to come out here. You just, find a time. I do teach on Zoom. And then, we'll see if it's a fit, see if it works for you. And if I can, help you out. And also, I got to find out if you're a good fit for me as a teacher as well. And, 99.9% of the time, we're usually good. But, hey, it gives you that you got nothing to lose thing. And then, of course, then I do a lesson package deal where you get, you got your money back guarantee on it too. So, hey, there's no risk on it. So why not? So if you are interested, you got nothing to lose, just message me here, or you can message me on Facebook, or you can just leave a comment here, and we'll find a way to get back, because there's ways to connect on YouTube as well. So let's get started. I'm going to cover 3 guitar solos. Oh my gosh, 3 guitar solos. Are you serious? Yes, 3 guitar solos we are going to cover. And the first one, actually the first 2 are in a, I should give you an early notice right now. They are in a drop tuning. And what does that mean? This is a good little interesting lesson too for you, is that there's a drop tuning. What does it mean by that? Well, basically just that the strings are tuned down. So normally what you would do is you would tune the strings E, A, D, G, B, E. That's called standard tuning, right? That's probably most vast majority of you, that's what you do. But there are other tunings. There are open tunings. There are all kinds of different tunings guitar players use. I use them sometimes as well. This one's pretty simple in concept in that you just take all those strings and you tune it down a half step. That means you tune this E to an E flat, an A to an A flat, a D to a D flat, a G to a G flat, a B to a B flat, and an E to an E flat. So you're just going to flatten them all. And you can easily do that on your tuner, and then that will match you up. Now, both of these solos they can be done without having to do that. Okay, that's another little caveat I'm going to give you here. You don't have to tune down. You just will play it 1 fret over on the strings. So, you know, you can definitely get away with that on standard tuning. I'm going to do it in the drop tuning here, but you can still play it if you're not in tune exactly. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. Let me change the tuning. I'm going to go up to the normal tuning for you. Since we're learning here, and the vast majority of you probably have standard tuning right now. So I'm going to just keep it in standard tuning. Oh, what did I do? I didn't tune here. I have a Kemper, what's called a Kemper profiler, and it simply does transposing, what we call tune down. Just 1 little dial. That's all I got to do. I feel like a keyboard player. You can just change my tuning. So that's pretty cool, but I just went to standard tuning. So I'm going to go standard tuning with you guys. Just regular tuning, because you probably all got that anyway. But just bear in mind that if you are learning the song to the recording, you'll have to tune your guitar down in order to play all the chords and all that too. Okay, so we're just going to do the intro solos. So let's do that right now. The first one is one of my favorites. It's one of the older all-time classics, and it's called Voodoo Child. Hendrix did it. Stevie Ray Vaughan did it. But of course, it's Hendrix's song, and you know, there was it's a pretty cool song, pretty cool intro. It's one that you all know, and of course, it's got the classic wah-wah pedal. Now, if you don't have one, you should get one. Wah-wahs are fun, man. They are just fun. They make this kind of sound. If you're not familiar with it, they just it's that wah-wah, little wah-wah sound. It's a pedal that just got back here. Let me take the camera real quick, and I will show you. Right there, this black pedal, that is a wah-wah pedal. And so when I made that noise, you know, it's just sort of doing that sort of thing. I don't know if I can hold that camera right here. No, I guess I can't. But that's called a wah-wah pedal, just right here. All right, there you can wait. I suck at cameras. You get the idea. So it's a wah-wah, and you just sort of go up and down. It gives you that wah-wah sound, right? That classic. And so that's what this the solo starts out with is the wah-wah pedal. So I'm going to show it to you well with it, and then as I show you the notes, I'm going to show it to you obviously without the wah-wah. And then, but if you don't have one, you can still play it. It's still, you know, you're still doable. You don't have to have it in order to play the actual lick, but it's a whole lot cooler. So you can look those up in the stores. There's different kinds that are out there. There's the classic Crybaby. There's a bunch of them out there. Vox makes one, and there's a ton of them. So, you know, I like the Crybaby, I like the traditional, the old fashioned Crybaby wah-wah, but you know, find one that works and then hook them up and just have a lot of fun. It can be really fun to play it. So I'm going to use that here and show you the Voodoo Child lick. Now the Voodoo Child is in E. It's the key V, well, technically E flat. Well, technically E flat, but in your guitar, you're playing in an E position. So even if you don't know your scales, I'm going to show you how this one's done. And so let's just do it right now. Let's get to it. So what I'm going to do something a little different. I haven't done this on live since I have a webcam. I can move the camera. So get a little dizzy just for a second, and you guys are going to get close up and see how this is done on the electric guitar. So this is how the Voodoo Child introduction is played. Let me get a little drive there. All right, and it goes just like this. Little wow thing. So that's it. So now without the wah-wah, let's show you how this is done. All right, it's a fun lick, man. So stay, pay attention to this. All right, all right. So the lick goes like this. We're gonna start with our very first note. Is going to be on the what is that? The 7th fret on the G string right there. Okay, and this utilizes the very first lick. The very first note is a hammer-on. So now, have you worked your hammer-on? Do you know how to do a hammer-on? So the hammer-on is just simply that. You hammer. You're going to start with this finger. You pick that. Here, give you a close up the pick. You pick it, and then you just sort of hammer this tip of this finger right onto the note that's 2 frets above it. So you get 2 notes for the price of 1 pick. How about that? Pretty cool. So now, if you don't know how, first of all, if you don't know how to do the hammer-ons, practice it. Maybe I'll do a lesson on that one of the next 2 lessons. I'll do one to show you how to do a hammer-on and pull-offs, because it opens up a whole new world of playing, not just lead guitar. It's with anything. The strumming, all sorts of different types of techniques work well with having the knowledge of hammer-on and the pull-offs. So this is with the hammer-on. So you hammer it on. Now, if you can't hammer on, just start with the note. All right, instead of going. But if you can do the hammer-on, it sounds way cooler. But start here. So the first actual note is right here on the 9th fret on the G string. That note's called an E. All right. In standard tuning, that's an E. All right. So you're gonna go or, and then the next couple notes are just simple notes. So you go down to the 7th fret on the G string. So you're gonna go 1 fret down on the G string. Now that's on the 9th fret on the D string, which is the 4th string. We count from bottom up, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're gonna go back to that note. And then back to this note here on the 7th fret on the G string. So slowly, picking hand there. All right, if you do the hammer on, you go. All right, so that's the first half of the first section of the solo. And then so what I played here is, now that is a G note, and that's on the 5th fret on the D string, which is the 4th string up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 frets. Sorry, 4th string, 5 frets. So, and you're going to do this with your pointer finger. All right. So make sure you got to get that hand moving here. So if your hand movements, you still got to work with it. Take it slow. Find it. And you pick that twice. Oops, sorry. All right. And then you do a pull off. Now here's your pull off. This is the opposite of the hammer on. So you pull off from the 7th fret to the 5th fret on the 4th string and down. And that last note is on the 7th fret on the A string or the 5th string. Now, if you can't do a pull off, you can still do this. You just pick the notes twice. All right, so if you can't do hammer-ons and pull offs, this is how you'll do it. All right, so you can still play the lick. And then the final lick is. So you go back to where you started, which is right here on the 9th fret, on the 7th fret, on the G string, which is the 3rd string, and on the 9th fret on the 4th string, which is the D string. And then you end it on the E note, which is actually the first note you started with, which is the 9th fret on that G string, the 3rd string. Okay, so if you don't know hammer-ons and pull-offs, this is how it would go. Oh, wait, hold on. Cheating. Can't do a pull-off or hammer-on here. Okay, let me do that again because I'm so used to it. All right, and that's how you would play it. Now, of course, if you can do the hammer-ons and pull-offs, which is really how it's done, you're going to hammer on. And that's a pull-off right there. All right, so you pull off from the 7th to the 5th fret, and then end up on the 9th fret. I'm sorry, on the 7th fret on that low, on the A string, which is the 5th string down. Okay, so. And then you go back and do the part that you started with. Again, same thing. So a hammer on, and then back to that 7th fret, then back to the 9th fret of the D string, and then you go do a little hammer on right there back on the G string. Okay, so that's how that would work with that one. Okay. All right, so that's in essence how you would play the intro to Voodoo Child. Now, if you had a wah-wah pedal, you just sort of push down on it. I wish I had a second camera, which I don't, but how you do this is you just sort of press down on it. You're kind of just sort of going up and down as you're picking. All right, you just got to play around with that wah-wah pedal if you have one, and just try and work that into your repertoire to see how well you sound. All right, so that is in essence how you play this Voodoo Child song. Okay, this Voodoo Child song. And so now when you tune down, if you later on, if you're going to tune down and play to it, you still will play it in these positions on these frets. Okay, it'll just sound like a half step lower. You know, the lower notes are played. So that is how that one's played. Okay, so that's how you would play the intro to Voodoo Child. Not too difficult. If you don't know your hammer-ons and pull-offs, you can still play it. But if you do know your hammer-ons and pull-offs, it sounds even cooler. And if you have a wah-wah pedal, you take it a step further, it really, really sounds cool. All right, so that's the first intro. All right, so good luck with that one. Now the next one is we're gonna go take it back to the 90s sometime, I believe, right? Or yeah, I think it was 90s, early 90s, for the song "Patience" by Guns N' Roses. All right, now really this song is done on acoustic guitar. I don't have the acoustic with me, so we're going to play on electric. You can play the solo on any guitar; it doesn't really matter. And again, same as Voodoo Child, same as what Hendrix did, is this song is also tuned down a half step. The strings are tuned the same way as Voodoo Child was: an E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat. They are all tuned down. So those that's what that guitar would tune. So again, I'm going to still do this on the standard tuning, and the position that you're going to play it in, that I'm going to show you, we will play it in the exact same frets. It's just going to sound lower when you tune it down. Okay, so we're going to do this in standard tuning. So here's how this solo goes, and we're going to go with a little cleaner sound. There is definitely no wah wah here. And let me see if I can get that down. All right, get that a little cleaner. Okay, so all right, so this one, again, like I said, it's on acoustic, but you can definitely play it on the electric, and this is how it goes. All right, a little bit more happening in there, and it does require some string bending. Oh, string bending. Okay, well, you're going to have to work on your string bending. So let me show you how this is done with the bending of the strings. Okay, so we start with the first note is with the pointer finger right here on the 12th fret. Now, a couple things that I didn't actually go over with before I did Voodoo Child is, well, these are very important, is to be sure that you're watching your position of your fingers, your thumb, and your wrist, and how you're holding the guitar and where you're playing and where you're putting the fingers down. So what finger plays what note is pretty important if you want to be efficient at playing guitar. Okay, so that's kind of the deal here. All right, so we want to be sure that we're holding the guitar right, and we're using the right fingers, the correct fingers for each string, okay, and each note as we play the solo. So here's how I start. Pointer finger here on the 12th fret G string. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just slide. Now we're going to slide. So wait. And then we slide. Now I'm going to slide my middle finger. Get a good look here. I'm going to slide my middle finger up to this note right here. That's just how I like to do it because of what's going to happen next. So I can actually, you can even start here, but I'm going to start with the pointer finger, and then I'm going to take my ring finger and we slide that note. And you want to hear that nice and smooth across. So you're going to have it nice and firm. It's going to go kind of fast. You don't want to hear the notes individually like that. You just want to go kind of quickly on it. So what it starts on this finger right here, pointer finger, and then we slide. And then this is the 15th fret right here on the B string or the second string. So I go. And then we slide back to the 14th fret on the G string. So. And then we go back to the pointer finger on the 12th fret. All right, so we take that really slow. And then we do a little bum, bum, bum. All right, let me show you that. It's all on one string, all on the G string. So, except for that note, that's on the B string. And then back to the 14th fret. And then back and forth. And then you're going to do a bend. Okay, now we're going to do a string bend. All right, so this whole time, if you've been watching and paying attention, maybe you haven't, the back of my hand, how my thumb is grabbing the back of that neck, how my wrist is here. I'm not too flat with my wrist, where my wrist is twisted like this. My thumb isn't down here in the back of the neck, all right, like down here. I have it up here, and it's you have a lot more control, and you can just play it a lot better if you have if you grab the back of the neck for this whole solo right here. So you start right here. All right, just like that. And then there's going to be a bend. All right, now the lick is going to be this. All right, so let me show you that a little bit. So after you play the lick, the first part, now make sure that you're grabbing the neck and the back with your thumb here, and the curve of your hand, if you can see it here, I'm kind of holding the back of that neck for the support. So when I do those bends, now the bends, the way the bends most of the time should be done is with the wrist. And you want to be able to just sort of, as you can see, my fingers are pushing, but the wrist is really doing the bulk of the action when I'm pushing up on that string. So what you do is you bend it. You see how my wrist, but the biggest thing to pay attention to is how the wrist is. I'm sort of twisting that wrist a little bit. And then the fingers are acting as one. As you see, I have my fingers close together like that. And I'm bending. All right. The thumb right here is anchoring everything. Okay. So you want your hand grabbing the back, so that gives you a lot of support. So that when you bend that string, and then you're going to put your pointer finger on the 12th fret. So you're going to bend, and then you're going to release. And now that could be tricky if you're not used to it. You might hear some string noise. So it's okay in the beginning if you're working at it. Just, you'll eventually get to the point where you can bend it and then get to that note right there on the 12th fret on the B string. And then what we do is we just go up 4 notes, and we use each of those 4 fingers to play each of those notes. So we go. See, I did that just one after the other on the B string. All right. And then we do a little bend. Now there's a mute there that happens at the top. If you can't do that, just release the note. All right, and then go back to that 12th fret on the G string. So let me show it all together. All right. Now, another thing too, and I haven't been showing my right hand as much, which is pretty important. So I'm doing it. Watch how I'm down and up picking here. So I'm going to go down. So when I did those 4 notes, I did down, up, and then down on the up, on the down picking on the bend, and then a down pick on that 12th fret right there on the G string. All right. So, and then you do a little, just again like we did earlier, from the 12th to the 14th fret on the 3rd string. All right. Now, after that, there's this thing here. Ooh, how do you do that? That's awesome. So, so what we're going to do is I'm going to use the middle. I use the middle and my ring finger, and we're going to skip a string. So the ring finger is here on the 2nd string on the 12th fret. The middle finger's on the 12th fret, but on the 4th string, which is the D string. And this middle finger, what it's doing is it's sort of sitting on top of that G string, which is one in the middle, and it just sort of sits there and mutes it. And when we pick over the 3 strings like we're picking a chord, like that. So you only will hear those 2 strings if you're doing it right. You're muting the top. And what you do is it's a little slide. So you just pick, and you're going to get 3 notes for the price of 1 on 1 pick. So you see I'm doing that? Now that might require a little bit of work. Again, if you're not used to slides, you have to have both fingers down and equally as if they slide up. Also notice, see how my thumb and my wrist, everything, I'm still holding back in that same position. I'm not moving around and flopping my wrist and my thumb around. So I'm just going. So I slide it up like that, okay? So let's so you have to do the slide. Now then after that, there's one more part to it. And you're going to slide, do a little slide here. You're going to, again, skip this G string, and you're going to be picking these notes like this. Let me just play it first. All right, that's the final part. Okay, I'm down picking, although you can probably, you can actually up pick on that D string if you want to. Do it either way. All right, so what am I playing here? So the notes we're forming actually what's part of a chord is really what we're doing. So we're going to play we're going to play it like this here, okay? And this is right here is on 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 on the 16th fret on the D string. And then the pointer finger is on the 15th fret on the B string. And we're going to skip that G string. So we go like this. This is the shape we're going to go like this. And then we're going to drag it down to 2 frets down, the exact same shape. We're on the 13th fret and the 14th fret, just like that, still skipping a string. And then what I do is I slide the middle finger down to the 12th fret on the same string. And then I put the ring finger down here on the 12th fret on the B string. And then we're going to play it twice, and then we're going to slide that down. So these are all slides that are going to happen eventually. So when we put this all together, it's going to be like this. And then one more time. So you're just picking from the D to the B string, 4th to the 2nd, and then drop down to that shape there, and then drop down to this shape here. And then you do it one more time, and then that's going to slide down. Right? You just do a slide there. You don't pick to that last note. And that's the intro to that song. So going back to the beginning, we go. So congratulations, if you're working on it, you just played the song Patience. Oh my gosh, you released the intro. So very, very cool intro to that song. And so, and also, like I said, it's tuned down in the in what we call E flat, where it's down half a step. And yeah, so that's how you would play that song. All right, so now I had a bonus one. Now this bonus one is going to be a little difficult. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a little difficult. But if you're up for the challenge, it's going to definitely require some pull-offs, lots and lots of pull-offs. So this will definitely, if you're practicing your pull-offs, if you feel a little confident that you got them somewhat down, then you're going to like this one, okay? This one here will definitely, yeah, this one will definitely be pretty cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just play it. You all probably going to know it. I think you will. Right here. Okay. It's another very famous intro. I guess you call it a solo. I'm not quite sure, but I think of it as a solo. All right. So it goes like this. Ooh, man, that's hot, that's fast, and that is insanity. Yes, it is. Oh, why do they tune down? Oh, okay, that's a good question. The reason that 99% of the time that I hear that artists tune down is simply because of the vocalist's range. They want to be able to hit certain high notes, and by tuning it down a half step or a whole step or however far down they want to go, and some of them do go really low, it's so that the vocalist is where their vocal range is at. And that's generally the reason why they do that. Sometimes it's just to sound cool because it's got a low sound, I mean, you can take that for what it is, but yeah, most of the time you'll hear that because the vocalist tunes down. In fact, if you listen, and while we're on this topic of Rush, what Rush, if you listen to not their last tour, what was it, the Time Machine? I think it was the Time Machine. Might even be before that. No, it was no, gosh, heck, not that. Back to Rush in Rio, so that was a while ago. After Vapor Trails, they tuned a lot of those songs down because of Geddy's voice, because he couldn't hit those high notes. Now he had since worked on his voice, and he obviously was singing differently. And they tuned back up, but they had to tune now because he couldn't hit the high notes anymore. So, you know, it just depends. Most of the time, it depends on the vocalist's range, is the reason why sometimes these are tuned down. Just to help the vocalist. Generally, when they get older and they used to sing high before, if you really pay attention, the band is tuned down in order to accommodate their vocal range. Okay, so that's generally why they tune down. So, you know, and back in the day, you know, Axl Rose sang the way he did. Jimi Hendrix sang the way he did. You know, maybe they just like that tuning. I mean, honestly, I don't know, but an official reason I'm going to go stick with, because it's the vocalist range. That's what they like to sing it in. So, so Spirit of Radio. This is a whole massive lesson unto itself. So I'm going to kind of go through this. You know, it'll be here on YouTube, and you know, the nice thing about YouTube is you can slow it down. I do have another video on YouTube where I get more in depth on how to play Spirit of Radio, but yeah, so it involves a lot of pull-offs. I ain't gonna lie, it's a lot of pull-offs, a ton of them. And so I'm going to show you just a quick synopsis on how this all works. And feel free to get hold of me later or check my other video on YouTube on how this riff is played. Okay. So again, as you can see, it looks and sounds fast because it really is. All right, so and just FYI, the effects that I'm using, it's kind of got this phaser flange sound. He used what's called Electric Mistress. I still have yet to duplicate it. I'm still in search of the perfect flange sound for that song. I haven't arrived there yet. I'm still looking. But for all right, so here's in a nutshell how that riff is played. It utilizes a lot of the open strings. And the other thing that you're going to do, and in fact, I'm going to turn my effects off so we can get a better interference there. Okay, so the way this song is played, now remember I told you earlier about grabbing the neck. This is one where you're going to have to put the thumb down. The thumb's going to have to kind of come down, halfway down that neck, probably somewhere behind that second fret, depending on the thickness of your neck and, of course, the size of your fingers. I have it pretty much at the middle of the neck, and the thumb needs to be facing up. We don't want to be doing this stuff, and we don't want to be doing this stuff, okay? We want to keep it straight and keep the wrist low. And this is going to require a lot of finger strength, too. So, this is actually, even if you're not into Rush, this is actually a great exercise if you're at this stage of playing, okay, where you can get the pull-offs and you can get that coordination going. So let me show you the left hand, and then I'm going to show you the left hand with the right hand, okay? Because what the right hand does is going to be pretty important too to this. So, so what we do is, actually, take that back. Let me give you the full picture here. I hope this works for you. So what we're going to do is pick the open string, and then we do a pull off with our pointer finger to the open string on the second string. So we pick it, and then that is the middle finger will land on that third fret on the B string. That's called the D note. That will always land there. So in this riff, that's the only note that's played on the B string. Okay, so the rest of them are all on the A string. Okay, I apologize, on the E string. So, and then open string, and then the little finger then does this next one, which is on the 5th fret, and that's going to pull off to the E string. So, pull off to the open E, and then back to the D string. This is kind of this D note. This is kind of your anchor note, if you will. So you go. All right, and then we go back and do what we did the first time. Open E. As you can tell, the open E is kind of in between a vast majority of these notes. So you're going to constantly going back and forth between picking that open E and then pulling off to the open E. Okay, if that makes any sense. So, so then let me start at the beginning here. So you did this, and then do little finger, pull off to the open E, and then pick that D note, and then back to get to the open E, and then pull off on that second note again. You're just going to repeat it. All right, so that just is a repeat of the first part. So another way maybe to think of this, if this is brand new to you, is kind of think of this in sections. Even as fast as this riff is, you can break it down. And the way you can break this down is first get this part. All right, if that's something that's really new to you, just work on pick it, pull off, and then middle finger on that D note. And then the second part would be open string, open E, little finger pulls off on the 5th fret to the open E, and then back to this D, and then go back to the third section, which is the identical one that you started with. All right? And then the final section is going to require a double pull off. Ooh, double pull off. And then you go back to the open E, and then there's going to be a double pull off. So the ring finger will take the 4th fret on the E string, and you're going to have your pointer finger on that 2nd fret, and you're going to pull off, and then there's going to be 2 pull-offs there. Ring finger to the pointer and pointer to the open. All right, a little tricky, and then so. And then you start again. So that's actually the riff. So now, the other thing to pay attention to, and when you're doing a riff like this, because it flies fast, okay? And one of the tricks to flying fast is making sure that your picking motion, whether you're up picking or down picking, your right hand really has a huge effect in how fast you can play really any lick. Pick one, okay? So it just really depends on how you utilize this. Now, this utilizes a lot of hybrid or alternate picking here. But how you pick it will determine how fast you can actually get this song, get that riff to play. Now you want to play it, of course, to the speed of the song. So you do this slowly. If you watch my right hand, try and focus a tiny bit. I'm going to still try and keep the left hand in the picture here. But so I'm doing it down, and then every time I go to this D note, which is that 3rd note on the B string, I'm up picking. And then down picking. So you kind of see what the pattern is here. Every time I strike that E string, this 1st string, I'm down, and every time I go back to this D note here, I'm up picking. And then the double pick is the same thing. I'm only picking once, but I'm getting 3 notes for the price of 1 pick, right? And then I up pick. So there's a constant motion. So the nice thing about that is that it keeps your pick in between these first 2 strings. All right. And if you can do that, then your picking motion, everything's more efficient. All right. You're picking much more efficient. And believe it or not, you may start slow with this thing, but if you pay attention to this as well as the left hand, you'll get that speed going. If you're just down picking everything, that's going to be hard. I mean, it's not that you can't do it; it can be done, but it just makes it a lot more difficult, and you're kind of expending a lot more energy than you probably should be, right? Okay, I just lied to you. Here's the thing. I got to tell you something. I've been playing Rush songs for ages, and to break things down, something you've been playing for decades, is it's kind of difficult to break it down. Okay, so when I told you on the E string it's always down, it's not. It's always down when you're picking the open E, but then when you do the pull off, all your pull offs is actually going to be an up pick. And the nice thing about it is you up pick, your hand's already in the motion and getting to that D. All right, so my apologies on that one. So you're going to down pick, up pick. Let me get that other guitar. So, and then, so you got 2 up picks then. And then just kind of repeat that. So every pull off is an up pick on that E string. All right, so my bad. Every time you do the pull off, you pick up on that. All right, and that will get you to then you can work on that the beginning of that solo kind of nicely. So that in essence is how that riff is played. Now I went through it really fast, and you know, as in any solo, anything you want to do like that, you want to always start slow. You always want to start slow. I mean, it's just, you know, it'd be foolish to not start slow. Okay, so and then work your speed up, and because you want to be accurate as possible. And this for any of these solos that I showed you today, or any solo, any song that you're learning, you always want to start slow. All right, so that is in an essence. Sorry, get a little dizzy there. So I think normally I don't do. I've been doing a jam, and then I don't do a jam, and then maybe I will do. How about I do Spirit of Radio? Backing track. All right, and you can see this whole thing in operation. I have no idea what this track's going to sound like. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of awful. Hang on. This is what I do. So backing tracks are nice. You can learn how to.
When every minute counts, I count on my all-new Chevy Equinox.
Awesome.
I can lock my.
That commercial is not. All right, let's do it this one. It may suck. I have no idea. But I'm going to play it. All right, so let's close it out. So if you guys got any more questions, take this time right now as I try to struggle through this song to play Spirit Radio. And you can watch how I did that and how I'm going to do this riff. It might be a little distorted on YouTube. I do apologize. Hopefully it'll come out okay. If not, you can hop on over to Six String Corner Facebook page and check that out over there. So I'm going to do my best to make it sound good. Okay. Animation's been out of my band, Animation, with Tribute to Rush. I do play in the Chicago area. Well, we did play. Maybe we'll play again. I don't know. It depends on what the rules are out there. Yeah, so let's play this one. All right, let's close it out. So if you got any more questions, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, just go ahead and ask me a question here, and I'm going to just sort of jam this one out. And all right, let's give it a go. All right. So you got any comments? I'll get back to you on the end of this. If you are on YouTube right now and you're watching this after the live broadcast, you're watching this in the future, to me right now, that just leave some comments down in the bottom if you need to know of anything, and if you want to know any more, if you want to learn how to get guitar lessons, and yeah. So anyway, let me take this and I'll take it out, and then if you got any questions, come back and ask away, and if not, then we'll part friends. Okay, so here is Spirit of Radio. There you have it. So rock and roll, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for stopping on by. And if you're watching this later, thanks for stopping by the channel. I've got lots more videos on YouTube, and I do give online guitar lessons. Also, in the link below on YouTube and on Facebook, I have a free note finder. Yes, a free note finder. What is a free note finder? Well, many of you should know where your notes are at, because if you know where your notes are at, you can play a solo a lot easier, and you can find your chords a lot easier, and you can speak a language to other players a lot easier by saying, hey, I know where this A is, or where this B is, or this ED is, or whatever note that you're talking about. So, excuse me, the free note finder, it's in the link below on my 16 Corners site and on YouTube. Go ahead and click that. Go grab that. It's a 7-step process. It doesn't take long to do, but trust me, when you have knowledge of that fretboard, you will become more of a literate player. It's kind of like if you can't read, you can still maybe be able to speak, but you can't read. That's called being illiterate. So don't be illiterate in music. At least know where your notes are at. That's the first step to being literate on your guitar. All right. So other than that, that's all I've got. If nobody else has got any more questions, I think we're going to leave right now on the live broadcast. You can always come back. And those of you who are coming on later on, thank you so much for stopping on by. It's so much appreciated. I try to do my best to help you all out. It's kind of got a passion for me to show others how to play guitar, and not just to play guitar, and not even just to play songs, but play songs the right way. And what I mean by the right way, have your technique right so that you will sound good playing whatever it is that you want to do. All right. So other than that, if we got nothing left, thank you for tuning in. I hope you endured my teaching methods, and stay in touch. All right. So we'll catch you later. Have a good one. Adios.